guys that been doing this kind of stuff is their whole thing behind the Tesla accessories they've installed most of the time has been brought to them by an end consumer. So the end consumer shows up with some shit that they bought off of Amazon, eBay, with Alibaba, or even just some website that they found, right? And it's cool. And sometimes it works. Sometimes they'll have issues with it. The installers do a great job of figuring it out, but it's still that stress level of, fuck, I have no support for this shit. If something were to truly go wrong, like I'm screwed and I have to figure out how to get this shit fixed, replaced, tech support, whatever it may be. So one big thing that we're doing obviously is going to be supporting this stuff, right? So one, we invested into doing full-blown manuals for everything, reliability testing for all the products. So some product we ended up killing because it didn't pass reliability testing, and obviously tech support. So our tech support guys have been slammed going through all these different scenarios and different installs and finding out different ways of getting past the updates for certain things that maybe accessory might be changed eventually and all this stuff. So they did another huge thing where they went and they started making sure that all this stuff is plug and play. So everything's teed off on these harnesses. You're not cutting into any wires. The only system that you would have to connect accessory for is going to be the ambient lighting kits. So that's the one thing that we would say that you'd have to wire up to the vehicle as well, so that way you can play music, get your audible for your maps, and everything will play on the outside or the speakers of the vehicle. So a couple different options we had. The one that we're sticking with is the 8-inch monitor, and then we also have a smaller screen, which is this one here, the 3.5. So 3.5 is not going to do the CarPlay. It's just going to give you vehicle information. But like I mentioned, this stuff's all important because when you're taking a drive, you have all the most important information displayed on that screen. So two different styles of these little displays here. The 3.5-inch that gives you all vehicle information. And then of course the 8-inch that's going to give you both CarPlay, Android Auto, and vehicle information here. So the rear console, this is another big one too. This is going to give you all your controls for the rear passengers. So right now in those 3s and Ys, all you have is a little vent. The newer vehicles are going to come with something similar to this, but even that, it's not going to be as different as far as you being able to use it as a tablet. You've been able to upload apps in it. Obviously, it's literally just a big tablet that goes in the back, but it's working off of all the vehicle's features. So you're still going to be able to control the seats. You're going to be able to control the heating on the seats. You're going to be able to control the passenger front seat, moving it back, forward. You guys seen that? And then also your AC controls, but you can also pair headphones to this system, so the passengers in the rear have their own little entertainment system. So say you got a trip with the family, and you want the kids in the back to do their own thing. In the front seat, the parents can listen to their music, maps, and do whatever they need in the front. And then of course in the rear, you're going to have the option to control everything in the back. So a couple different things that are cool about this, like I mentioned, is that you can actually add apps to this thing. So it is like a little Android unit. You can do your YouTube, you can hotspot it, you can watch videos, music, and on top of that, if you were to want to control, say, the front display as far as music goes, you can do that on this unit as well. So they can skip tracks, put the volume up, put it down, pause it, mute it. All that information you can control from the rear seat, so it's pretty cool. Also has a plug right there to say hook up a charger for your phone. So little things like that, simple things like that, are things that people want. So, and the Teslas are real slimmed down, they're real basic. You do get a lot of good features in them, but there's a lot of things that you can improve on, and adding something like this is just an easy sell. And so like I said, man, I think a lot of that stuff really comes down to who the hell are you, right? So like, we've been here for, about 15 years now. We've seen the way we operate, our customers, you guys, everyone knows the way we are as a company. And we're literally trying to bring that and merge it with this brand to say, look, man, we're going to give you guys the same kind of support that you expect from the Rydeen product with this stuff too. It's new, and everybody's getting used to installing on, electric vehicles, and they're still kind of sketched out. And we're trying to do everything we can to give the support that's needed, because this is a category that's just going to be growing. So we're trying to put our full support into it, man, and guys like you guys, we got to make sure you guys understand and have all the knowledge that we have, so that way you're not going out there blindly selling stuff that, like Bob just mentioned, you can go out there and get for half off. You might be screwed down the line. You might be, you know, getting some shit that you don't even know what it is. I've seen people get product and it's just all China labeled. So all the little details, which, you know, a lot of times the small details matter, is what we're putting our efforts into making sure it's clear. Alright, so this is some easier sell type stuff right here, like the swivel mount. So all this stuff is like, man, like this is stuff that even me, like I talk to people like, yeah, I'll take a couple of those because it's easy sell stuff. So like the swivel screen, right? This little swivel mount, it's literally a bracket you can see on the bottom left corner. This is the hardware that goes into it. There's a little bezel that goes around the top, and then there's a little bracket that goes behind it. All locks in with the factory bolt, and now you have the option to swivel the screen. So small things like this is easy sell stuff that guys are gonna do. Like, hey man, I want to put this in for you. You know, it's an easy install, and customers will go for that. So real simple solution. Even the little screen protector at the bottom. So little things like this is like easy sell stuff. You should turn these all day long. All right, the door handles. This is like the most probably labor intensive stuff here. So the dealers are gonna make great money on this, right? So this right here, it requires you to basically fully remove the window, the door panels, all the little plates that are locked in, which is like 2 different plates on the top and the bottom, and obviously the door handle itself, you have to remove that. But this is probably like the most coolest thing. So just us going around and showing the vehicle to everybody, this was the one thing that everybody was super intrigued with. But like, damn, that's just pretty cool. Automatic door handles. So the way it works is you have an app on your phone. As you approach the vehicle, it senses that you're getting close and they automatically open for you. So not only does it do that, but then it has a nice cool lighting around it. So you have the option to have it do RGB, where it's different colors. You can lock it onto a specific color, or you can keep it white, keep it basic, just a nice bright white light around the door handle. And that was a big deal. So yeah, pretty sure most of you guys seen that there at the show. For somebody that doesn't want to use the app, which I personally wouldn't, I don't want that thing just popping open. It's just an easier way to open the door. So if you mess with Teslas before, not that it's like, oh my God, I can't figure this out, but like if you have somebody walking up to the car for the first time, they don't understand how to open the door. And you have to push basically that back piece, which is the thicker part of the handle, for it to open, and then you have to use your other hand to pull it out, or you can use your thumb, whatever which way, but it's a little weird at first. So just that in general right there is a way to get guys that want to have an easier option to open up the door. On these handles, if you're not using the app, you push the smaller side of the handle, it'll automatically pop open for you. So say you're walking up, you have something in your hand, you push the little handle, boom, now you can open it easier. So just little things like that. And I think a lot of these Tesla guys want stuff like that. Different things on this handle, these handles, I always mention is that there's another option, right? So another option meaning if you want to add additional accessory to this, like the soft closing door locks, it's good to have your dealers pitch this at the same time. So you can do like maybe package 1 is just the handles. Package 2 would be the handles and the soft closing door locks. Once they have all this stuff apart, you might as well just do the soft closing door locks, which are right here. These little motors that go in the door. So doing these together is way easier than just doing it one day at a time, you know, because you're doing the same amount of labor. All this stuff is pretty easy. That's what I'm saying. Getting into like the more labor intensive stuff would be these door handles and the soft closing locks. So what I have, and I'll send to you guys, is a sheet with all the times. So the price sheet that I have, it shows all the times estimated for installation on each product. So it'll give you a better understanding, but I can tell you just straight up right now, the door handles, the soft closing locks, that stuff right there is a day's labor, easy for sure. And that's just because you're removing the doors. I mean, you're taking off the windows, you're removing the panels, you have to unlock. Like I said, there's a couple panels in there that they make you remove so that you can actually get to the door handle itself. So definitely a day's labor with something like this. Same thing with the ambient lights. So the fact that we did what we did with the factory trim panels, it's way easier. Obviously, boom, you pop out the factory one, you pop in that one. But this right here, since it's the rear doors, the cup holders on the rear doors, the front doors, and then of course we added that little fake little speaker cover grill to it if you decide to add that on there. All this stuff has to be daisy chained together, and that's going to be connected to your accessory up front. So that's the one thing that has to be wired in.
Yes.
Is the ambient lighting kits. So this right here, easy a day of labor right here, but the wow factor is there. So handles, these ambient lights, like these are like the wow factors, or it's like, damn, that shit's cool, like I want something like that. And these are just a little bit easier to get their attention in, and it's just up to now, it just becomes the customer at that point that wants to actually pay to install it. All that too, we do. So I have a sheet with just that on there. I could share that with you too. But I made, out of that price sheet, what I made was two different things, but the one thing that would matter would be like the installation times. So I could probably add another column and just put the draw on it for the life of the vehicle or the battery, so that way you can tell. But to be honest, man, with everything installed, everything we had installed, we did the math and added everything up, and you're literally taking about 2 to 3% off of your battery's life with everything running, even the fridge. So it's not crazy, yes. It's not at all, but that information is important. People want to know that stuff, so I can get you a sheet with all those times. You got to be a jackass to run out, like, for sure, because that thing, man, the more you go, it'll be like, dude, here, like, you have to stop. Like, it'll reroute your whole, like, destination to make sure that you have enough charge to get there. Jackass to do that, man. I don't know. But it happens, you're right. So I think that information is definitely important. I'll make sure to get that over to you guys, so you have to share, at least with the dealers and stuff, you know.
For special rates.
Cool thing about this kit though, man, is that, you know, just like the handles, you can change it to any color, have it swap different colors at any moment. Like I said, this is definitely a wow factor for sure. One big thing was the fact that their factory panels are there, like it's the laser engraved panels on there, so it doesn't look like shit. It's actually legit product. The Power Frunk. So this is actually pretty cool. Like at first I was like, whatever, but man, this shit helps out a lot. And the reason why I'm saying that is because traveling around, we had I was lugging stuff everywhere. So like having that is pretty cool. I was able to like carry a lot of shit in my hands and just dump it right in there without having to actually touch, drop, boom, put anything down, automatic. Put the groceries in the back, put the baby in the front, man, you know? You're good. So that was a big deal. And I was surprised, man, a lot of people that do have Teslas, like, you know, we go to charging stations and like that's one thing, like just showing the car around, right, killing time. And that was one thing they're like, oh damn, that's pretty cool. Was obviously going to be the front, on top of the other wow factors like the lighting handle and stuff. But the front was a big deal, which I personally was surprised about. I felt it definitely convenient, but people were like, oh damn, that's cool. I would do something like that. So super easy product, I think, to install for sure, and also sell would be something like this. This is another one of the easy sells. Power Frunk. And then they are, bro, like one motherfucker rolls up in a Cybertruck and he's like the shit. Everyone's like, what? Let me see it. Let me sit in it. Like, it's crazy, dude. I was over there doing the same shit, I ain't gonna lie. But yeah, man, that's like honestly the spot to be at. Like, if you want to show, when we were showing this stuff, we probably did more demos there than, like, you know, going to a shop and doing your 4 or 5 installers. It's like, boom, you got a group of people and everyone's right there just looking. So that was a pretty cool thing to do. And then even over here, we do the same shit. Soft closing frunk mechanism. So this is literally just the soft close. So it's not the auto frunk opener, but when you close it, instead of having to push down on the hood or do anything like that, you can actually just soft close it. It'll lock up the way it's supposed to. So we have this and the opener, auto open and closer on the car. So when it does close, softly closes. So these go like hand in hand.
Such as like Walmart.com or...
This would be like another package to sell.
Okay.
Power trunk. So the power trunk here would be for like your Model 3s, I believe. Yeah, so the Model 3 and S's, certain years don't have this. So this would be something that some of the people ask for. Definitely,
I'm trying to think of an example. Like for example, like so.
definitely something that they would ask for sure. Would be the only for the 3s and the S's. The other ones obviously have it automatic.
Meyer, right?
Another big deal was the electric sunshade. So this was like a huge thing where everybody was like, man, I can do that, I can sell it. Super easy install on this right here. So there's 2 brackets that mount on the headliner in the front, and it just uses the tension off of the headliner, locks into the actual frame of the sunshade, and then there's 1 bracket for the rear, and then you run power down the little boot in the back or the side, little grommet up top, and it plugs into the cigarette lighter if you want, or you can connect it to the power behind the cigarette lighter, which that's how we did it. Comes in 1 color. There's only 1 color of the interior for this car. These cars are the Y, sorry. This is only for the Y, just a note. So the sunshade is only for the Y. But this is a super cool piece, and this is one, if not, probably, and for it's an easy install, man. Like it just, dude, if you're a legit installer and you take more than an hour to do this shit, you're whack.
Walmart has FedEx for sure.
This right here was the sunroof, which we're not even gonna probably get into doing this, to be honest. We're not even gonna mess with this. We were at first, but with the traction we got on the sunshade here, we're not even gonna touch this, so this will be off. The ventilated seats, man, this shit came through big time on that travel. Dude, that shit was kicking up the whole time. Right here came through, so I ain't gonna lie. So this right here, man, and then the seats themselves, what comes in the packaging, super damn comfortable, like mad comfortable. Like it's better than the factory seats, to be honest. I'm not even bullshitting. So a lot of people that got in, they're like, fuck, did you guys change this out? Which reminded me to tell them that we got the ventilated seats. I'm like, oh yeah, shit, we actually changed that out, and they're ventilated seats. So from factory, you're not going to get the ventilated option in the 3s or the Ys. You're just going to have the heated option, right? So these fans, once it hits a certain temperature, it kicks on to now start blowing air. So the fact that the AC is going, it's going to blow cool air. So at a certain temperature range, I don't know if it's like, 68 or some shit like that. But once you hit a certain range, it kicks these fans on to start kicking out cool air versus the heated option. The way it works is that you're actually tapping into the heated option. So to engage this right here, you turn on the heated seat option on the screen, and then based on the temperature that's blowing at the time is what the air is going to be, right? So if it's hot or warmer, higher temperature, it's obviously going to blow the hotter air, keep you warm. But if it's lower, then it's going to kick on the fans. And the fans read that way, so they see, hey, we're at 68 degrees, kick the fans on, let's blow cool air. So this is actually really cool. It's a mission. This is another product that's, you got to get motherfuckers that know how to do CAT scan and shit like that, because not anybody's going to be able to do these seats. This is a full-blown upholstery job for sure. Like you're removing the factory system or the whole factory seat, having all that on there, and replacing this with a foam. Installing the fans, cutting out the foam for the fans to place them in there properly, and then putting this whole seat back together. So this is another labor-intensive piece. What's weird though, what's crazy is I have actually had 2 end consumers hit us up on our website for this. Which I was like, when it's out, we'll let you know. But 2 people actually contacted us for this stuff. They're like, oh, can I buy it? I'm like, hell yeah, you can buy that shit. I'll sell it to you right now. Alright, now the electric footrest, man. Real easy install too. So this is just a mechanical piece. It's nothing crazy. You're not installing any type of wires or doing anything like that. It's really going to work off of the motion of the adjustment of the footrest, or the seat itself. So you can see here, you adjust the seat, pull it up, the little footrest is going to start kicking out. So there's one little bracket that goes behind the footrest, and that's attached to the base of the seat. So once it starts moving its direction upwards, it automatically kicks that footrest up. So this was another cool piece. I mean, I personally didn't care too much for it, but a lot of people thought it was pretty nice, and just to have that feature. I found it useful, of course, when we were driving for hours in the car, and I just wanted to lay back and kick back. But a lot of people did like it. I didn't care too much for it. I probably wouldn't use it personally, but it is an easy sell. This is, like I said, like another thing that's an easy sell. Not expensive, not crazy, but at the same time, just something to add to make the car look cool, make it look better, nicer. People want that stuff. These things all look the same, right? another one of my favorites, to be honest, is the folding table in the back. So, dude, this shit is cool, man. Like at first I was just using it to charge my phone. After a while, like I said, riding around with this guy, I said, man, fuck, someone sit in the back. I don't want to hear him. I don't want to talk to him. Got in the back seat, popped that table down, boom, put on my laptop, messing around on my laptop, or even just a table to kick back. Had both of my phones out right there, doing whatever I need to do. It's a table. So figure you're on a plane, whatever you can do on that damn plane, same thing here. That's the feeling I got from it. So the fact that it has a little built-in wireless charger was cool. You have to, wire up anything, smack it down right there, you're chilling. Passengers in the back have a cool little folding table. And even in a sense of like, we had to stop and charge and I wanted to comfortably eat something, I used that. I just sat in the back seat and I had my little table right there. Ate my sandwich, had my Capri Sun and cookies. I was kicking back, So this is just a cool option to have, I think. And you can put them on both sides. So you don't have to only be on the passenger side. You can put them on the driver's side as well. So, both kids can enjoy. Now we go to one of my favorites, which is the refrigerator. So there's two different refrigerators we have, one for the 3, one for the Y. The main difference is, of course, the depth of it. So the shallow one is for the 3, the larger one is going to be for the Y. And you guys seen it in action. I mean, it works great. It's literally a refrigerator for the rear. You can put it at a freezing temperature. And another reason why this is great too is, just like you mentioned, you're at the charger, right? So you got to run a couple errands. You might have to put some groceries in there. You might want to chill out and go walk around in the store for a little bit. I physically myself seen this thing come through in that way just because we were everywhere, right? So we'd go get some drinks, put them in the refrigerator, maybe crack one open, go for a walk, go inside the store for a little bit, come back, drive around, and then boom, I can go in the back real quick and grab me another drink, or whatever need to be, like some sandwich meat back there or something, so you're not stopping every a couple hours to get something to eat. You have a little snack in the back, right? So anything like that. Dude, hey, we're not judging, whatever you want to put back there, So this is a real cool install. It's super easy. You drop it in the trunk, plug it into the cigarette lighter for power. You unplug that. And the cool thing with the plug too, what I noticed, because if you wanted to take this out but leave the wiring connected, you're not just having a wire just running back and forth, you wanted to tuck it away nicely, is you can disconnect the one from the actual refrigerator as well. So you can unplug that and just take that out completely. And the wiring, leave it where it's at. When you put it back in, plug it into the charger, and you're good to go. So it's a cool piece, I think. I mean, a lot of people did like it. A lot of people that are doing their sound systems right now, they actually have like subs in there. So some of them, they wouldn't be able to do something like that. But for your everyday person, people that are going to spend the money to actually put this in the car, I don't think they're worried too much about sound. So this is something that a lot of people were like, it's pretty cool. Like, I could probably put this in my Jeep. Shit, it doesn't have to be specific. But the cutout and the build of it is specific for the Tesla. And then all of our Yoke style steering wheels. So we have a bunch of different styles. Even for the newer, the Highland. So the 3 is a Highland, has slightly different controls on it, but it does retain all the factory settings, your volume adjustment, your pause, stop, heated steering wheel. That's all going to be retained on these, and just a bunch of different options. I mean, you can see here, white, carbon fiber with white, all leather, just different options and styles for this Yoke style steering wheel. So let's go. We got the Starlink Cross Taillights, bro. These are right here are dope. So I didn't give a shit at first when I seen them, like, yeah, whatever. But installed on the car compared to the other 3s and Ys that are out there, it makes it look clean. It makes the car look dope. So you fire it up, it gives you that boom little shot real quick, braking, turn signals. It just looks a lot cooler, right? So this right here, I would say it was a big interest in just being at the charging stations. Like, a lot of people are like, damn, that's cool. How much are those, or where can I get those? So the three things on here. So one would be these taillights specifically that have that little crossbar there in the middle, and then also, of course, we have different styles over here. But the pilot lights over here, which are these little small ones on the bottom, this was another big deal. Which this one's probably the biggest hit. It's a simple pilot light. This one works off of your turn signals, hazard lights, whether you're braking or not. So these little accessories here, I mean, it all adds up to you know, add a little flair to the car. But this was another big one. Super easy install here. It literally just pops out the little factory placement that's for the towing there, and it's just a little plug that goes behind it. So if you did need to access the little tow part of it, because you're a jackass and you ran out of battery, then you just pop that little piece off, and it's a little Molex plug. Comes out, and now you have access to the towing hitch. Different style tail lights. These are pretty cool. I mean, I don't really care for them. Again, those are my favorite, the cross links. But people, you know, they want what they want, so we had to bring out a couple different options. Fishbone style, eagle tail lights. This one's called the X-Men tail lights. And then, of course, the little bumper reflectors here. So these are traditionally just reflectors, but now they have the option to make them light up. Works with turn signals, works with the brakes, hazards, the same deal on these. So those three things, I would say the pilot light, these reflector lights, and in my personal opinion, the little crosslink, Starlight crosslink tail lights were my favorite combo. And now we get into like some easier to sell stuff. Like I mentioned, this is stuff that people are down to put on their car just to make it look different. So you're looking at the little trim panels, like the carbon fiber trim panels, the little stock covers here on the right side. The wing, of course, that's like a big one. The carbon fiber wing, and this is true carbon fiber stuff. It's not no janky stuff, it's legit. The little side mirror caps, same thing. We have the glossy one, we have the matte one, the glossy wing, the matte wing, and then my favorite is the big matte style one was my personal favorite. And that's the one I think we've been selling more of, is the bigger matte style. And there's two different styles of these little trim panels for the interior. They come in 3 pieces, one for the dash, 2 for each sides of the doors. And there's a stick-on style where you're literally just sticking it onto the factory trim, and then there's a full replacement one as well. So 2 different styles, stick style, replacement style for those. Now the carbon fiber body kits, we haven't put ours on, which we probably will. One thing with these kits that, just talking to our dealers in general that have done stuff like this, they say a lot of the ones that are out there just don't fit right. So, and if you know Tesla, I mean, they're known to build their cars like kind of shitty sometimes, where sometimes the panels and pieces don't match up. So it's super weird, but that was one thing that we found with that. So we've had 2 pieces installed on test vehicles, 2 different test vehicles. They fit great. We haven't put ours on ours yet, so that would be the 3rd sample that we're gonna try and put on ours. And yeah, man, they're full blown kits, man. So like full blown carbon fiber kits. They're not cheap, but we have, of course, the one for the 3, one for the Y. So we'll see how ours looks. But that was one thing I noticed, that the guys that did do stuff like this, they were telling me that a lot of times the panels and pieces just don't match up on this. So we got to make sure that, you know, what we have is going to be good. So I'm just being honest here with you guys. That's the feedback I got out there, and I can't say otherwise until we install it on ours to be 100% confident and saying that this shit's legit and it works and it's great. I've seen it, felt it, it is nice, but we haven't installed it on ours yet. The underbody protection panel. So this right here is another one that I already sold a bunch of these. So there's an account we have out here that they were doing all the rentals for Hertz and stuff like that. And so these guys said that these panel pieces, and it's truly why we brought it in, that the factory ones, once they're compromised, they blow to shit, and they're easily, you know, broken. So these ones here are super sturdy. They're super light, heavy duty stuff. It's not going to be anything that's going to add mad weight to the car. It's going to be about the same weight as the factory panel piece, but it's durable. So the computer, all that stuff's in the front there, and that's one thing that you don't want to compromise, right? So if you hit something hard enough and, you know, it blows to shreds, you got rocks, whatever, stuff blowing up in there, like, you can truly damage the vehicle in that way. So the factory ones, they're not that great, and so for that reason, I was able to sell a nice amount of these ones here to a couple of different shops. But this is just a universal piece, pretty much. It's going to work for I think all the 2016s and up, I believe. Yeah, the 16s and up, right? Yeah, so for 2016 and up. So for the Model Y and the 3, it'll work for those vehicles. And that's going to be it for the Tesla stuff, man. But just to give you guys some insight on everything that I've been hearing, I think the one main thing with these installers is, you know, Tesla has over-the-air updates, right? So their main concern was like, oh, if I make a connection here for this or here for that, how do I know that they're not going to swap out the accessory to be something else? And we have two really close friends, people that work with us, that are master techs at Tesla. So they give us a shitload of insight on what's changing, what might change, and when it happens, where we can swap the hookup. And like I mentioned, the only thing that you're going to be hooking up ever is going to be that ambient lighting kit, which it needs accessory. So right now we know where to get accessory in the car, kind of. I don't personally, Jonathan knows, but we know that information, and God forbid if it ever changes, which it hasn't, knock on wood, past couple of years, we have friends and people that we work with that are, you know, master techs there that give us that information straight up. So that's another thing that we have on our side too, is that we got people that are actually working and giving us information too. So it helps us out big time, big time. Other than that, the only other feedback I get, I mean, like I said, there's still a lot of old school guys that are like thinking, you know, a couple years behind, and they're just saying, hey man, I don't want to even touch this shit, I'm scared. But when we go over and explain to them that everything's going to tee off, there's nothing that you're cutting into the factory harnesses on, they're a little bit more comfortable. They're like, okay, well, if that's the case, then maybe we could do something. So that's just the stuff we're hearing out there, other than, hey, what kind of warranty we're getting, what kind of support's behind it, which I mentioned to you guys already. We're fully supporting it. We're going to have tech support, you know, for this stuff, owner's manuals, installation videos. So there's three things that we're going to be adding. One of it is going to be a login site it's for people that complete our training. So you can sell this shit to whoever you want, and I can pray that they do it right. But if you're a tier 3 certified guy from Rydeen, meaning that you got fully trained on this stuff, and you have a certificate, and you're on our website in a special place that says this guy is legit, he's an installer that is truly knows his stuff, and he's going to be on there as a premier installer for the Tesla product. So what we plan on doing, and we want to do, and hopefully you guys can help us out with this, is we want to do a training either at, you know, your show or a facility, or one day throw a fucking barbecue, I don't care, whatever, to get a handful of your guys there to go and see a real installation on site and get certified to install some of this product. To do it like at the show, since you guys have trainings there, right? So maybe we could do something like that and have a dealer bring his fucking Tesla and we'll hook it up, you know? He had like a million questions. Like, I got a Tesla, my wife and my fucking dog got a Tesla. I'm like, dude. But it was good. You know, he had some real good feedback, man. He actually helped us out. He messed around with our power Frunk, and he was messing with that and stuff. And he was like, oh, so Go Fast is going to have something? We're like, yep, they're going to carry it. So we're trying to push the business, of course. And you know why? For the logistical reasons to you guys, to be the distributor, man. That's the whole point of having a distributor, is to have you guys stock the product and support the dealers locally. So we went and we kind of hit a couple of dealers out there, man. So that was great. But just feedback-wise, specifically from him, he's like, dude, I know so many people with Teslas. And we're like, fuck, well, maybe he might be someone that we might want to pull the car from and do that for, you know? So just keeping it in mind. I mean, there's a bunch of ideas that we can put together, but we want to make sure that we get a training there specifically for this Tesla stuff to highlight some people in your territory that can be like, you know, featured. Boom, hey, you type in this state, zip code, whatever it may be, you got, you know, Sound and Motion or whoever, top 3, boom, boom, boom. These guys are all, you know, certified, legit, can do the job. And we also want your help too to kind of go through which ones you think, you know, we want to invite and we want to certify and we want that attention on that specific training. And so, you know, that's going to all be from you guys. I'm going to trust, you know, your input on who's who in that area. I'll let you guys go. I'll let you do your thing. I really appreciate you guys taking the time out of your day, man, to learn, you know, some new stuff and just kind of wrap your mind around the future and then the ideas that we have for you know, moving forward with you guys. So let me know. You guys all have my contact information. If not, you can get it. Just let me know if you guys ever have any questions on anything in the heat of the moment, bro. I'll help you out with whatever I can.